The stage lights, cut out during the third song, and 80,000 people at Wembley Stadium fell into darkness. Michael Jackson froze mid-dance move as his earpiece crackled with urgent messages from the control booth. Show halt. Immediate compliance required. Safety protocol breach identified. The music stopped. The backup dancers looked around confused. Millions watching the live broadcast saw nothing but black screens and dead air. What happened next would become the most talked about concert crisis in music history and prove that sometimes the audience has more power than any authority. If you want to know how 80,000 fans saved Michael Jackson's career in one night, hit subscribe. June 14th, 1988, Wembley Stadium had been transformed into the most elaborate concert venue in European history for Michael Jackson's Bad World Tour. Every detail had been planned for months with permits, safety inspections, and technical certifications, all approved by Westminster City Council. The show was being broadcast live to 47 countries with satellite feeds coordinated across multiple time zones. Insurance coverage totaled £15 million, making it one of the most expensive single-night entertainment events ever attempted. But 30 minutes before showtime, a single document arrived that would threaten to destroy everything. The document was delivered by motorcycle courier directly to the venue's administrative office, while Michael was completing his final sound check. Westminster Environmental Health Inspector Margaret Whitfield examined the complaint filed by nearby residential association representatives, citing noise ordinance violations and requesting immediate enforcement of recently updated municipal sound level restrictions. The complaint referenced Section 12 of the Environmental Protection Act, which had been amended just 6 days earlier, with stricter decibel limitations that the original concert permits had not addressed. Inspector Whitfield's measurements during soundcheck indicated that the concert's approved sound levels would exceed the new municipal limits by 12 decibels, creating a compliance issue that required immediate resolution. Her portable monitoring equipment registered consistent readings above the recently established threshold, generating official documentation that triggered mandatory enforcement protocols. The venue's technical director received notification at 7:45 p.m. that the concert could not proceed under current audio configurations without violating newly implemented municipal regulations. Westminster City Council protocol required immediate notification to the venue operator that performance audio levels must be reduced to comply with updated ordinance specification. The venue's insurance coordinator confirmed that any municipal violation would void coverage for noise-related liability claims, exposing the venue to unlimited financial risk. Legal representatives advised that proceeding without compliance modifications could result in immediate shutdown orders and substantial financial penalties under Environmental Protection Act enforcement procedures. The concert began on schedule, with Michael delivering his opening numbers to thunderous crowd response, but audio technicians were frantically adjusting levels between songs to meet the reduced municipal requirements. Monitor speakers throughout Wembley Stadium operated at 60% of planned capacity, making it difficult for performers to hear cues and creating timing issues for coordinated choreography. The live broadcast feed compensated with post-production audio enhancement, but audience members in the upper sections complained they could barely hear the performance. During Smooth Criminal, Michael's third song, Inspector Whitfield's monitoring equipment detected sustained readings exceeding permitted levels by 8 decibels. Municipal enforcement protocol required immediate intervention when violations persisted for longer than 90 seconds during official monitoring periods. At exactly 9:17 p.m., she activated the emergency compliance procedure and contacted venue management with orders to implement immediate sound reduction or face mandatory performance suspension under Environmental Protection Act authority. The stage manager's voice cut through Michael's earpiece during his signature lean sequence. Performance halt required. Municipal violation confirmed. Reduce audio immediately or face shutdown. He watched 80,000 people cheering for his incredible move while knowing that this might be the last song they would hear at proper volume. The technical crew had 3 minutes to achieve compliance before mandatory shutdown procedures would be implemented by municipal authority. Sound engineers attempted to reduce audio levels while maintaining performance quality, but the equipment couldn't compensate for the dramatic reduction required without compromising the entire show's technical integrity. Monitor feedback increased as they lowered main speakers, creating audio distortion that made it impossible for Michael and his band to maintain synchronization. At 9:21 p.m., the venue's technical director made the decision that would change everything. Rather than compromise the show's quality with inadequate sound, he would shut down all audio systems completely. The music stopped abruptly during the bridge of Smooth Criminal, and stadium lights dimmed to quarter power. Michael stood frozen center stage, his hand still gripping the microphone as 80,000 voices slowly quieted into confused murmur. The massive video screens went dark and the backup dancers looked to Michael for guidance, while sound technicians checked their equipment. Inspector Whitfield approached the stage area with her clipboard and monitoring device, flanked by 2 venue security coordinators and the assistant facility manager. Inspector Whitfield reached the stage perimeter and addressed the venue's production coordinator in the calm, procedural tone required by municipal protocol. Environmental health inspection confirms sustained violation of Municipal Sound Ordinance, Section 12, as amended June 8. Performance audio levels have exceeded permitted specifications for longer than regulatory tolerance allows. Venue. Operator must implement immediate compliance measures or performance suspension will be required under statutory authority. The production coordinator turned to Michael, who had moved to the edge of the stage where he could hear the conversation. Municipal regulations require us to reduce sound levels significantly or shut down the performance. We can continue with limited audio, but the quality will be substantially compromised. Michael looked out at 80,000 expectant faces and felt the weight of millions more, watching empty screens around the world. Michael's knuckles turned white as he gripped the microphone stand, his earpiece filled with fragmented panic from the control booth. Broadcast dead air, 27 countries. Sponsors asking questions, comeback failing. The silence stretched for 10 seconds. 20, 30. He looked toward his band. The bassist shook his head slowly, defeat in his eyes. The drummer's face showed the same fear Michael felt, rising in his chest like ice water. 80,000 voices grew restless. Someone shouted, "What's happening?" from the front rows. Then another voice. "Michael." His breathing shortened. If he walked off now, the headlines would write themselves. Jackson quits mid-show. His comeback would become a collapse. 2 years of rebuilding his career would end in 30 seconds of silence. The crowd noise swelled, confusion turning to concern, concern edging toward panic. Michael's hand trembled against the microphone. His earpiece crackled. "Decision needed now. We're losing broadcast." He closed his eyes, forced himself to breathe. This could be the moment that ended everything he'd worked to rebuild. Or it could be something else entirely. He stepped closer to the edge of the stage, raised the microphone to his lips, made a choice that would change everything. "London." His voice cut through the growing murmur. The stadium fell silent. "We have a situation with the sound system." Pause. "But I didn't come this far to give up now. Are you with me?" What happened next started small but grew into something that municipal regulations had never anticipated. A group of fans in the front section began clapping in rhythm, trying to recreate the beat of Smooth Criminal that had been interrupted. The clapping spread to adjacent sections as people realized they could continue the song even without the official sound system. Within 2 minutes, the entire stadium was clapping in perfect synchronization, creating a percussion section of 80,000 people that no regulation could control. Someone in Section 12 began singing the melody of Smooth Criminal, and their voice was picked up by people around them. The singing spread through the crowd like a wave as thousands of voices joined together, creating an a cappella version of Michael's song that filled Wembley Stadium with sound that no municipal ordinance had ever considered. Inspector Whitfield's monitoring equipment registered the crowd-generated audio levels, but found no regulatory framework for addressing collective audience participation. Michael stood center stage listening to 80,000 people sing his song back to him without any amplification or official support. His backup dancers began moving to the crowd's rhythm, and his band started playing along acoustically, even though their instruments couldn't be heard above the massive choir of voices. The moment transcended any technical requirements or municipal limitations, as the audience became the performance, and Michael became their conductor rather than their entertainer. Inspector Whitfield stepped back from the stage area. The noise levels from 80,000 voices far exceeded any regulatory limits, but her monitoring equipment showed 0 readings from venue sound systems. She spoke into her radio. "Control, we have an unprecedented situation. Crowd-generated audio levels are outside regulatory framework." The response came through static. "Stand by for guidance." She watched the crowd singing Michael's song without amplification, while her clipboard listed violations that no longer applied. The Municipal Enforcement Authority covered venue equipment, not collective audience behavior. "Control to Inspector Whitfield. Hold current position. Do not escalate enforcement until legal review is complete." The venue coordinator approached her cautiously. "Inspector, what's our status?" "Enforcement suspended pending regulatory clarification. Sound technicians received authorization to restore minimal audio levels while keeping equipment readings below municipal limits." Inspector Whitfield remained on site with her monitoring equipment, documenting the hybrid performance that challenged every enforcement protocol she'd ever applied. The show continued for 2 more hours, with the audience remaining actively involved in every song, creating a concert experience that transcended traditional performer-audience relationships. Michael's voice returned through the speaker system, but now he was harmonizing with the largest backup choir in concert history. The performance became a collaboration between artist and audience that created something entirely new in live entertainment. Inspector Whitfield stayed until the final song, her monitoring equipment recording levels that fluctuated between compliance and violation depending on crowd participation. Her radio crackled periodically with updates from municipal control, but the guidance never came. The regulatory framework had no precedent for this scenario. As the final song ended and the last notes faded, Inspector Whitfield packed her monitoring equipment. The venue coordinator approached her one final time. "What's our official status?" "Performance completed under administrative observation." "Compliance review pending. Full report required." Michael Jackson's Wembley Stadium performance ended not with regulatory approval, but with bureaucratic uncertainty. The concert that almost shut down due to municipal compliance issues instead continued under a cloud of suspended enforcement that would take weeks to resolve. The night, 80,000 fans became Michael Jackson's backup choir. Didn't change any regulations immediately, but it proved that some moments in live entertainment operate beyond the reach of any authority, based on real industry incidents and concert management protocols.